And now members of the Energy and Privatising Parliamentary Committee want Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi to reduce expenditure instead of pursuing the listing of Kenya Pipeline Company on the Nairobi Securities Exchange to raise revenue for meeting national budget obligations. If successful, the government hopes to raise 120 billion shillings in public investments through sale of shares. And TV's Brian George now explains why MPs feel it's not enough to plug the over 900 billion shillings budget deficit and what alternatives they floated.
Deepening the capital markets, democratization of wealth among Kenyans, and gaining political and diplomatic mileage across the region are some of the key reasons why Treasury CS John Mbadi is pushing to end the 17-year initial public offering IPO drought at the NSE by listing the Kenya Pipeline Company KPC. The government is optimistic that the history of Safaricom's IPO in 2008 would be replicated if this KPC's process sails through. At the time, Safaricom's IPO raised over 50 billion shillings, a 500% oversubscription.
Here are a few numbers for your benefit. Out of this IPO, the government hopes to get 120 billion Kenya shillings, which is representative of about 2.86% of the 4.2 trillion 2025-2026 national budget. Currently, KPC gives the government about 3.1 billion shillings in dividends. And lastly, if the IPO goes through, 35% is the stake that the government hopes to hold non-dilutable.
Parliament's Energy and Privatisation Committees, however, put Treasury to task as to why there's overlooking of other failed listings, notably the national carrier Kenya Airways, Uchumi, Kenya Re and Mumias Sugar, and why a profitable KPC would be going private.
Some of the profits were book profits. Yeah, like Mumias, there were issues, there were challenges. And Mumias even went through other things, the cane being a problem, and many others. The same may not obtain with KPC. Even Uchumi. So I want us to look at each individual case. Let's not say because a company failed, Telkom failed, or Telkom did not take off as was expected, because it was becoming obsolete. The services that it was offering could be offered better.
Given the pressing 2025-2026 budget needs, Parliament wants a bond floated instead of this proposed listing, a move the Treasury advises against.
A lot of times we have been funding our infrastructure projects from debt, by borrowing. We are reducing that and releasing some to the PPPs, releasing some to securitization, and then bringing in now privatization. So don't just look at privatization as a single item and say 149 is a drop in the ocean. It is not. It could be 10% or whatever it is, but if you add it to PPPs, you add it to securitization, you add it to liability management, it has a big effect on our fiscal space.
On the flip side, the knock-on effect of listing KPC to raise the intended cash would mean the government reduces development expenditure as the country's fiscal framework and debt sustainability aren't optimal, as sovereign lenders and credit rating agencies have stated recently. That means Kenya has minimal runway for more loans.
While admitting that there could be some redundancies in the privatization process, Treasury CS John Mbadi says that there will be compensation for any KPC officials and staff who are exposed. Brian George, Mavoko, Machakos County.